Yes.
Larry Brager.
Yes.
Ralph Saka.
Yes.
Lori Canavy, yes. Connie Troutman.
Yes.
TJ Stevens.
Yes.
Dennis Michael.
Present.
Harold Ivory.
Here.
Alright, and we've kind of met, Connie is our newest member of the board. She has a one-year position that Heather did not want to stay on the board. So Connie was appointed last week? Last week. Alright, can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to ask you, I redid our last month's meeting with the track one stuff. All of the things that the supervisor should have just disregarded since they kept coming in with a different plan.
I think
We were going to amend, I thought we'd amend, but if that whole plan's out the window, does it matter?
I think he withdrew his plan, if I'm correct. Didn't he, TJ?
Yes.
So we're back to square one.
So then we do not have to amend our minutes to match?
No,
Okay.
the minutes reflect what was done. But I think, as I say, with your agenda, rather than have this gentleman sit here with the discussion items A
Oh,
and
we
B,
did it, yes.
you want to take him out?
Yeah. Yes, but let's do the minutes in front of you. You have the minutes.
Public comment first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There's no public comment on here.
I know.
Who did the agenda?
Harold does our agenda.
Should have public comment. All right.
Okay, any public comments?
None.
In front of you, you have the minutes for January 11th. On the agenda, it has the 18th. It should be the 11th. I think, right? I'm sure.
January 11th.
Yeah, January 11th. Okay. And that was the reorganization meeting?
Correct. Is that a motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion to accept the meetings of the minutes of the last meeting of January 11th, 2024.
And I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
And Connie, you can't
She just put abstain. She wasn't.
abstain, yeah.
Just not for ethics,
Okay.
but she was not here. Okay.
All right, we'll go down to the new business, the subdivision number 3.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate not many townships move new business up to the top, so I really appreciate it. And I promise I won't drag this out.
We just want to hear you speak, that's all. We like your dialect.
So I had sent an email to the board, the solicitor, to the engineer. Previously, I was in front of the board with Trask Farms Plan number 2, and we have since pulled that plan. And that subdivision is going to go ahead, but so kind of like letting you in behind the curtain a little bit more is the reason why we did plan number 2 was because the clean and green taxes. We were concerned that if that was a lot in Peters, less than 10 acres, that we would have got hit. Not we, my client would have got hit with a large tax bill. I actually went down to Washington County. I had a meeting with the tax revenue, and they explained as long as it's the same owner and it's continuous, that you don't have to consolidate. So armed with that new information, we decided we'll keep it nice and clean. It's going to be a standalone lot in Peters Township, and it's going to remain in clean and green. So that, wish I had known that before we dragged everyone through that, and I apologize. And kind of that clean and green is kind of why I'm here again tonight, because at the end of 2022 I was here for Chuck Trax Senior. I believe the history of his father's house, and he bought that house, or I'm not sure how the transaction went. He just needed to make it a little bigger. So they hired us. We created the subdivision. We got it approved by planning supervisors. Got it recorded. I told Mr. Trax to record a deed. We generated meets and bounds description describing the property. I told Mr. Trax to get a deed, record the deed. The deed will execute the plan. Well, this was we had done a previous survey on Cardock Street, just a boundary survey for Chuck's senior's son, and he had new owners encroaching on his land. So that was really my first endeavor with the Trax family. Lo and behold, we record the deed, we execute the plan, a massive tax bill showed up on Chuck Senior's doorstep. So I'm here tonight to revert, and this is lot 4, on the new plan. I'm looking to revert back. The tax revenue have said to Mr. Trax that if they put the lot lines back with how we had them prior to the 2022 subdivision, that tax bill will go away. So that's the reason for lot 4.
Lot 4 is 0.457 acres, right?
Correct.
Yes.
That was back to the original lot before we did that subdivision.
Okay.
I don't know if you can even just go on to Washington County. I think it's back up and running after their fiasco there. This whole Trax Farms, even in the Peter side, the deeds are a mess. The deeds are crossing roads. They're in multiple tax parcels in the same deed. So the rest of it, what we're doing is we're going to subdivide the piece north of Trax Road, and we're going to create that as a separate parcel.
Lot 1R?
Correct. We're going to create lot 3, and then we're going to, the market, what they call the market, is going to be lot 2. We're really, and the way this is, that the clean and green tax rollback will disappear, and all these 3 parcels, lot 1 or 2 and 3 are going to remain in clean and green, and then the pond is continuous with that, and the clean and green is going to stay in place. And that is why I'm here tonight. I heard discussions, again, I hope to be in front of this board many times. There's no talk of developers. I'm only talking with the Trax people. We're just tidying up lot lines because it's a mess.
All right, so what are you here, what are you here for today? You're creating 4, okay, you have lots 4, 3, 2, and 1R.
Yes, sir.
These are new, this is a new lots he's creating then.
2 new lots being created from two original lots.
Okay, so explain to me, what lots are being created?
Well, originally, Dennis, lot 3, lot 1R, and lot 2 were all one lot, as I understand it.
Lot
Correct.
3?
Lot 3, 1 or, and 2 is all,
One
currently
lot.
is all
We're all
one tax
one lot.
parcel.
So what you're doing now is you're creating 3 lots out of that one parcel.
Correct.
That would be lot 3, lot 1R, and lot 2. Why do you call it 1R, by the way?
That's a good question.
Revised, maybe?
Because there was probably one somewhere in the chain, and the or is for revised.
Okay. Good job, Larry.
I know a little bit, not much.
I don't know.
You know, that is probably a hangover from the pond subdivision, so we can probably change that back to 1. I'll just go back through my notes.
Wouldn't it be cleaner to have lot 1 then?
Yes.
So, for the purpose of today's record, or whatever, lot 1R is now called lot 1. Correct?
Pending his comment.
It will be.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I just want to make sure what I'm looking at.
Understand. And then another thing that kind of clouds title, you know, is Route 88 just blew through there, and no disregard of all property lines, even the DOT plans. You know, when you try to tie them down to the boundaries, we're kind of tidying up that whole area with this plan.
Well, a lot of times in the old days, these roads were just wagon, and that's what they just needed.
Yeah.
Get the broom. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's the same lot on both sides of the road.
Correct.
The lot continues, the road's just a right of way. It's not separated as a lot.
Correct. And I think for future generations, which Chuck Sr. is very conscious of, is kind of tidying up all the boundaries of the property instead of kicking it down the road that most families that have large parcels, they photocopy the prior deed and kick the can down the road.
We're not having anything in front of me.
Here.
At one time, Kingsfield Corporation, I think Trax bought that because that was subject for high density development.
You got extra copies of that?
Yeah, this is John's copy.
Sorry.
That's all right.
My
I
mistake.
didn't know where to put him. But that was Kingsfield Corporation, and the deal fell through apparently, and apparently next thing you know it's Trax. But at one time, I believe, and you'll probably find in your research that it was as such.
Okay. But I think in the 50s?
Huh?
Was it the 50s?
Kingsfield was had to be in the 80s.
Okay.
70s or 80s, and that was over on the car dock side, unless I'm mistaken, but where the overflow parking lot is for the Pumpkin Festival, I believe that was Kingsfield.
The corner.
Well, they cut that hillside back there a number of years ago.
Well, they took the PennDOT, that was, PennDOT did that.
Right.
Because if you look at the fire hydrant, it's where the old road used to be,
Yep. Yeah.
and that was Suicide Bend. And then even before me, 88 used to go where the dog kennel was, cross over, what is it, Krishner's, and went around there, and that's before my memory.
Okay, so have you anything else you want to tell us? Sir?
No, that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
And have you give a written response to him at all?
Yes. So
Do
we
you have a
were,
copy of that? Or not?
yeah, we sent copies to the township on Friday, I believe.
Yeah, I received mine on Friday. I was only able to address one of the comments today, and that was
Oh, I can explain.
the evidence of the application to Washington County.
How many copies do we need?
Why don't you make 6 copies? John, do you have a copy of that?
Okay, so I believe Mr. Higgins sent these documents to our office week before last Friday. I think it was on the 8th maybe, that we turned in this number 3 plan. And on the same day, he let us know that they were revoking plan number 2 and proceeding with this new plan number 3.
I remember seeing that one.
So we completed a review, as Keith alluded to. It's a fairly straightforward subdivision, creating 2 new lots from an original 2 lots, which we talked about. Our review comments are that we would ask that the applicant provide the township with evidence that they've submitted this application to the county for their review as well.
That was submitted today.
And
The application
yes.
was submitted
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, I'd send a copy of our application.
So they have since complied with that request. The second comment there is dealing with public water. We would ask that they provide a water service availability letter from Pennsylvania American in the event that there ever were to be any type of development on these new lots. There should be provisions made for all utility service, not just water, but sewer, gas, telephone, electricity, those types of things. So that's the third comment there under the subdivision section. Moving into the general section, we have our note there, which is fairly customary on our subdivision reviews, that we would request that a copy of this application also be sent to the Peters Creek Sanitary Authority for their opportunity to review. And I think there are signature blocks on this title sheet.
Yeah, and I did send, and I can forward the application as well, and there's an escrow as well for that application, and we took care of that as well.
So you're working through the process with?
Yeah, it's with, yeah, because the checks were written, so it's with Leonard Smith for their review now.
Right. Okay. The second comment under general is our comment about the 25-foot road right-of-way. We've dealt with this on some previous projects as well, applications. We would just ask that in accordance with our subdivision ordinance that the necessary easement right-of-way width be dedicated if needed. Item number 3, just in our review of the drawings here, we noticed there's a couple non-conforming buildings, which are existing non-conforming uses. They don't meet the setback lines as they're drawn on these drawings. There's one on, I guess that'd be lot 2. There's one on lot 4 and one on the new lot 3. So we would suggest that these be noted as non-conforming uses on the drawing set. Item number 4 is sewage facilities planning module, Act 537 process. This is fairly typical when you create new lots that may not have been part of the 537 planning process back in the day. So are you planning any development on those at all, or are we looking at a non-building waiver for these lots, or are you gonna?
No planned development.
Okay.
So there should be a waiver on this then.
They could do that at this point, I agree.
Yeah, non-building waiver.
Just add the non-building waiver language for, I guess it'd be lot 3 and lot 1, since those would be effectively the new parcels. And then the 5th item under general is signature block for Peters Township. We did get some feedback from Peters. Friday, yeah, we have this note on there just because there is a small sliver of lot 1 which crosses over the municipal boundary, Union and Peters. So Peters has since responded and said they're
Don't bother us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're okay with letting
Yeah.
it proceed. It's not really impacting
it's
parcels in there.
that entire lot parcel is assessed in Union Township. It's got a tax ID, so they say, go ahead.
Yeah, they don't seem too concerned.
No,
so-
we did, up here where the Ryan plan ties in on the Union, Peters Township line,
Yes.
we did a subdivision up in that area, I'm sure, because Ryan didn't want that parcel that was in Union, and we cut it off.
You mean where that label is for POB, John?
I'm not sure.
That triangle there?
There's a house, they're all rectangular lots coming over to the line. Then I'm almost positive we did a subdivision.
When you say we,
Well, the planning commission here at the township.
according to Washington County, there's no subdivision for that piece. So whether it was never
There was a
recorded
parcel or something cut off. And I can't tell you what year it is, but if I went through my archives, I know it was presented. There was a triangular piece of property that came in the Union that the Ryan Development didn't want it, and they cut it off as such.
Yeah, I've found no records of it. The
Okay.
current vesting deed does not call for it.
Is there, I mean, you say you didn't find anything.
I'm not seeing anything on here, but
I can
Yeah,
almost see it in my mind, and I thought, well, Peters doesn't want nothing to do with Union, and Ryan doesn't want nothing to do with Union, so they cut it off and put it, whatever.
so are you talking about one of
I
these
think-
two triangles down here?
I think it happened
Either
up
this
in
one
here.
here, or this one here?
All I know is it.
You know what? It could be.
It was a triangular
It could be
piece.
this piece. Can I approach?
Yeah, there was a,
It could be this piece, because this is a weird, that triangle piece, that's in Peters.
That
Yeah.
could be it too.
That could be the one you're talking about, it's weird, it's
well,
weird.
no, actually, this deed came over in the Union Township before these were done. Before these lots were as such, and somewhere in this area, unless it's this triangle or something was done there. Because the Union line, I know it came over something like this, or whatever.
Yeah, we have. That's Orchard Hills, if I'm
Yeah.
accurate. We have all the subdivision plans for Orchard Hills.
Well, if I dig it up, you'll find another one.
Well, if it's not recorded.
Well, it ain't my fault, I'm just saying, it went through the planning commission here.
Yeah.
We've already had that issue with another project.
John, is it a Union Township parcel that this?
Yeah, it was, the deed in Peters came over into Union Township,
Okay.
and they did not, the developer didn't want that parcel, so they cut it off on the Union, Peters line there in that area.
Did Track sell that land to the developer?
That was all Trax's,
Yeah. Okay.
and
So maybe, if you remember, you could be right, and they could have consolidated it into Union Township, like what I was trying to do with plan number 2.
I'm just telling you, I remember, because I thought, well, hey, they don't want Union Township land to use.
Yeah, we'll take it.
That's why these houses stop at the crest. If this would have been Peters Township over here, they would have continued to 88.
Yeah.
Well, I'm also surprised that they didn't put a cul-de-sac here. I've never gone up there to see. According to this drawing, there's no cul-de-sac there, which is strange for
Correct.
Peters.
Yeah. Usually.
So they're
To
anticipating,
extend.
or somewhere in the future, to continue on.
Extend the street. Yeah. That's usually
And that's
typical.
common,
Yeah.
but they usually put a temporary turnaround.
They usually put a sign at the end,
Yeah,
because when you move in at the end of the cul-de-sac, and
Sure.
10 years later, a bulldozer comes and extends the road. It upsets a lot of people. I know the previous administration and Peters were really conscious of making sure those signs were in place.
Well, the other factor, whose ever driveway up there becomes a turnaround.
I'm sure.
Okay.
I mean, I'm more than willing to, all our research, but we'll certainly, if anything's discovered, we can certainly address it, but I'm pretty confident that I'm showing it
Well,
accurately.
hey, at this point, I'm just telling you, I know it went before this board. There was a triangular piece subdivided off, and it stayed, the Union part stayed in Trax's, and because the developer and Peters didn't want it.
Well, let's have them confirm it. Let's.
I don't know.
I would recommend that we have the applicant look into it and.
Yeah, and then
Research
it
it.
may have never been done so, but you can see the configuration of those lots and
Yeah.
something occurred there.
For sure, yep.
All right, any other questions, Ms. Parzano? Connie? Lori?
No.
Mr. Brager?
No, sir.
Darla? I got it right this time.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so does someone make a motion to recommend approval of the Trax Farm subdivision number 3, subject to compliance with the comments of the township engineer in a letter dated February 16th?
Can I ask a question? Maybe I shouldn't.
Well, not yet. And subject to further review of the subdivision issue raised by the board, by the commission. Is there a motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second that motion.
All right, now go ahead, sir.
In the subdivision, your first comment that's taken care of with
Yeah.
Washington County.
Right.
The service letters from the utilities,
Yeah,
is that a requirement regardless of development or not?
Well, I thought if their lots are non-buildable,
yeah, I mean, if you're not proposing any construction at this time, I think
We can ignore those two?
potentially that issue resolves itself, but,
Okay.
if, you're
Adding
gonna
that.
pursue a land development plan in the future, that would be
Oh.
something.
didn't we talk about doing a waiver of those?
The non-building waiver?
Right. Didn't we talk about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna do that for his sewage facility.
So
plan.
instead
He's
of-
talking about the other utilities though.
Okay.
Addressing item number 4, a non-building waiver. Yeah.
Any other questions?
No.
Keith, maybe you could just throw a note on the drawings here that says that, utility service is not
I
expected.
may be wrong again, but there's a manhole that comes up there's a sewer line here. It services the houses on Sugar Camp Road.
Is there a question?
No, that, other than, if you got a sanitary on there, why are we giving them a waiver?
Well, the reason for the comment was because some of these are new lots that are being established, so they don't
Okay.
have taps or EDUs accounted for as part of the original Act 537 planning process when they built the sewer system. So, if there's no development planned on those parcels, I think we could allow a non-building waiver in lieu of them performing sewage facilities planning steps that are required with DEP when you create a new law.
Okay, I always thought that if you you had a sanitary on your property that you could tap one in.
You'd still have to go through the module process to get the tap. But again, there's no development plan.
Okay.
So I think the easiest way is the non-building waiver, and then in the future generations, they can go through the process of the planning module.
Yeah, so if somebody eventually bought lot 3 off of these folks and wanted to put a house there, they would have to go through the necessary processes with DEP and Peters Creek to get their approval to connect to the sewer system. Because that lot was not an original lot, it's part of the 537 contemplation.
Peters Creek may come back, and that might be a comment from them that go get us fill out the module and get a service or a letter. So, but if they come back and again any future any development plan, no non-building waiver, I think the way to go. And again, if there is a development.
Yeah, well,
They'll be here with land development.
let it fall on their burden.
Sure.
Yeah, you're right, John. There's sewer easements shown on these drawings. It does cut through.
And cut through some of the red tape.
Yeah.
And,
I think getting sewer will, it won't be on lot sewage because there's service there. So I
Right.
don't think that's going to be an issue.
right, it's within so many feet. And there's used to be other restrictions. You didn't have to tap in sanitary, but that's years ago. I don't know if that's changed over time or not. Or if you have to put a grinder pump or something in and you're within 150 or 200 and some feet of a sewer line, then you can put a sanitary system. But it's a cost trade-off anymore.
Yeah, and the pump station, they don't want that at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Any other questions about the motion? You want to vote on it?
All right, everyone,
Is it okay with you what we just talked about?
Absolutely.
okay?
Okay.
All right.
Aye.
Yeah.
All in
Aye.
favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Just trying to figure out how to do
Again,
everybody's name.
thank you for moving me up in the schedule.
You're welcome.
Not many municipalities do that, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Good night. Watch,
Good night.
watch the deer.
Have a good evening.
All right, so just for the last piece on the motion, what they have to look into parcel,
Okay, so basic motion to approve, make a motion to recommend approval of the tract subdivision 3, subject to compliance with the comments of the township engineer in a letter dated February 16, 2024, and also to investigate that proposed subdivision that Mr. Parzan is talking about.
Port
Impacting
Orchard
lot
Hills.
1.
Impacting. What's that? And to investigate investigate a subdivision that may impact lot number 1.
Yes.
Okay, and also
It may have never been recorded, I don't know.
put in their parentheses, tracks will annotate the drawings to indicate non-building waivers for lots 2 and 3, 3 and 4. Lot 1R and lot 1 and lot 2, correct?
1 and 3.
1 and 3, okay. 2's across the street,
1 and 3.
1 and 3.
Okay.
2 is where the business is, 4 is the house, and lots 1 and 3.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
All right. What else we got?
Update on the burning ordinance and update on the large facility solar system ordinance. We were given some materials last time, and Connie, you don't have them. So,
You want to give those rather than go. It's unfair for her to discuss
Right.
it without her seeing both
Right.
of those items.
right,
Well, after doing some research and the email, I went through the ordinance,
Which one?
the burning ordinance,
Okay.
and the DEP model side by side. And there was an email that was written to my predecessor,
Thank you.
and it looks to me that they need, to put into the ordinance needs to be, to define the Monongahela Valley Air Basin, and which municipality it encompasses. And that is not in the ordinance. I think that's what they need to do.
Okay, so we can make it for the next meeting. So Connie can have a good discussion as to, she already has a copy of an ordinance or whatever, but put Monongahela Basin down.
And
Have we received any comments, any complaints from the DEP regarding the ordinance?
I'm reading off of an email that was sent to my predecessor, Jared.
How long ago was that?
Oh,
2022.
June of 2022.
And that's when I was, excuse me, comparing them. That's what I thought too. They just wanted us to acknowledge we're in that air basin.
The air basin and
Can
what
you
township it is.
Can you send that
I
email?
sure will. I'll send it.
What I'll do for next, I'll modify the ordinance to include that. Okay. Also, we have, I sent over a solar field ordinance. I think I made it, rather than have it, just an ordinance, I made it a zoning issue. I think, Mr. Sadi, I sent you, you have a copy of it also?
Yeah.
Did you read it?
Yeah.
And your comments?
I don't remember. It was long ago.
All right, so it's rather thing, maybe, like I said, have an intelligent discussion with Connie. If,
Well,
if
you know what? Self-cited.
I'll have, I have Connie, give me your
I have one right here.
copy.
Okay.
Copy.
Yeah, but I think she needs to look at it before she.
Well,
That's my comment. But,
you want to copy it? Copy that for her?
or I can even email it to her.
Well,
You can have this copy. I have another copy.
You have it, okay, okay.
And again, what I wanted to do is rather, the first concept was just to have something else, solar fields or whatever you call these things. I thought the better way to handle it was to make it part of the zoning ordinance that we have. So I tried, and again, it's just a draft, but I can tell you, in Greene County, I'm starting to see solar fields coming in. They have a huge solar field just south of Greene County. It's on the river. So these things are becoming more and more pronounced.
I have one going in Smith Township.
Well, I have one going in Greene.
40,000 panels.
What's that?
40,000 panels.
Oh, Homridge enlarging his. Is that Homridge putting it in?
Well, in this township, we have old industrial space, which is prime at some point in time for redevelopment, which is an opportunity that investors are looking at in similar communities.
Well, the one I saw, the one I just saw the other day, it's just south of the Greene County line, was huge. Right now, in Greene Township, which is Greene County, they're Garage Fort, they're putting together a solar field, and they're negotiating with different electric companies or whatever to access the line.
Can we do this? And I have
You ever read it either?
I read it, and
But-
I did have a concern.
Well,
Okay.
can this be put into only industrial zoning area?
Anywhere you want to put,
No, I mean, we can limit it to where it will go.
yes,
Okay,
the township can.
the township.
Now, does what you guys have concern compressor stations also with the solar fields?
Compressor station?
Because they're connected.
This
Oh,
is-
they're connected.
Why would a compressor station be connected to a solar?
I'll send you the information.
I never heard of that before, but
Oh, I'll send it to you.
I just was worried because, of course, the sound limit
Mhm.
is 55. You know, I live across from the compressor station with the continuous noise,
okay.
and 55 is way too much. You'd be surprised at night how. I mean, FERC limit for continuous running is 46.8. That should be, 55 decibels at night, if you have your window open, because I had a sound engineer, when that sound comes in my bedroom window and it bounces off my walls, it's making it louder than 55 decibels in my bedroom. So to me, I know what I've been through, and I'm looking to protect the next person coming down the
You'll
road.
get down to 45.
Oh yeah, I'd go lower if I could, but I think 46.8 is the FERC limit for continuous noise for a compressor station. But
Sweat
yeah.
changed that. Sweat changed that.
Right.
We made Babs Callan magazine over that deal.
Yeah. I sent them that it said for my conditional use for the compressor station that I never did get an answer to my email from
From them? No.
because I said it says FERC limits. I said FERC limit for continuous noise is 46.8 for compressor station, and I sent them the regulation right from FERC, and I never received any
Did they
answer.
change
No.
that? Because there was already an ordinance.
Oh, Sweat changed it.
They changed it.
They started immediately once they got in. It's in the invoices.
Well, what I did here is it's a conditional use.
We went
We went
through all
Oh,
that.
he changed it all. He changed everything you did.
But it's not,
It's in his invoices. I'm serious.
Zoning district.
No,
It's
we-
disgusting.
Harold, we sat here,
I think
you
RD.
met probably here,
Rural
we
development.
had,
I think that compressor
we
station
had
went up
cricket
14.
levels at different times of the year,
So,
and everything was supposed to be
I
in
mean,
compliance.
okay.
It's
He changed
different.
it all.
Like if they're in the middle of 100 acres and there's no houses around, who are they going to bother? But if they're like if the setbacks, I saw something where it was 225 feet from a residence or something. That shit. That's
200 feet?
nothing.
My house is almost further off the road than that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just a draft. We can always,
Mm-hmm.
it's just to give you some ideas. I mean,
Yeah.
Hey,
I mean-
Harold, there was only one or two houses that were anywhere close to that compressor station. Over there on Philadelphia Raymer Road.
What about Aber?
Aber. I live on Aber.
Aber.
Well, is that where the 4 lines go through and you go up to Stone Church? Neighbors, is Aber in the valley?
Here's my house, compressor station.
Okay.
We're at the same level. So that sound decibel
when did
comes right.
When did a compressor station go in?
2016, that was,
Right after we left.
2016 was the hearing, I believe. Yeah, and it was 2018 it was commissioned.
Because what I did, we did a compressor station when I was here.
That was the one.
That was
That's
it.
it.
This is it.
That's it.
They changed it. They changed it though.
They researched it.
Yeah,
and
but they didn't.
as soon as they got
it
here,
was-
and they doubled the size.
Because what I did when I did that thing, I did a lot of research about what to do to muffle the sounds and everything
Yeah.
else. Because I put all that stuff. There's everything in there. They're supposed to have like certain devices to muffle the sound.
They added this, they added that.
Are they being
Well,
maintained?
there was
They said
that?
they added it.
How many years ago was that done? Are they being maintained?
They doubled it in 21.
I'm just saying, if they don't
So
maintain.
they
weren't
doubled it in 2021.
Your conditional use says they were supposed to have a conditional
They were,
use.
I put as part of that, if they ever enlarge or change it, they would come back to the township to get a conditional use.
They did not,
They did
and they
not.
doubled it.
By that time, we were all off the board.
we
And
did-
and
we
there's
did
no,
ours.
there's
I know you
no.
How'd they get around that?
I know.
I
They just did it.
I complained at meetings.
We did. I did
complained
too.
At meetings, and they went up there. Oh, they found that they built a building up there that they never got a permit for.
Nothing.
But again,
And
so they were
but
supposed, but when I did that, again, I put in that conditional use,
They had
that
to
if
come
they ever
back.
change or enlarge, they had to come back. How did they get around that?
They just did it.
They just did it. They do whatever they want up there, Dennis, because nobody can see what they're doing over there, over on that hill. Nobody can see what
I
they're
know-
doing.
Dennis,
And
I-
unless
I know
make
you
a
did your
mistake.
part, and the planning commission did it,
Yes.
and he passed away. He went down to Greene County, that they
Chaska.
had a similar facility down there and came back with to the township here.
Who was that?
Paul
Oh.
Chaska.
Who?
Paul
Chaska.
Chaska.
Yeah, Paul. Yeah.
But like I said, it just, it was a shame because that whole thing, I did everything possible to minimize the noise.
Same with
Well,
the oil and gas stuff.
In
All the
your,
work we did, they
in our
threw out the window.
findings of facts, conclusions of law, you said it would just to go by FERC regulations for the noise. But it didn't say 55, it just said FERC. Well, I emailed them and I said, FERC regulations with their sound engineer, Roth Engineering. That's how I found all that out, because we were going to hire him as property owners. And I said, FERC is 46.8. And I said, my findings of fact, conclusions of law just say FERC limits. I never received an answer from them. Never received an answer.
But
They did look into it for you, though.
But
Oh, did they?
I know him.
Oh,
personally.
but they never answered me.
Steve Roth professionally.
But the thing about it is that I did a lot of research into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Oh, and but Dennis, once you were going,
That was it.
there was pro. You know what I mean? There was nobody gonna fight for.
They
Yeah.
started researching the ordinances in this township at the end of 2016. They were researching the Macintosh. It's in his invoices. In 17, they were researching the grading ordinance, the noise ordinance. I forget
Oil,
what other one.
gas.
Well,
Uh-huh.
yeah, they changed that later. They changed the other
They
ones
changed
before
the
that.
oil gas to not even be 55, but 60. Tesla, it's just like, I mean, that would just. I mean, if I had I could turn my sound meter on my phone, and that would just probably be the level we're talking right now could be 55 decibels. But imagine hearing that constantly. Somebody never shut.
No,
Yeah.
like I said, I apologize, but
It's
No,
not-
I'm
it's
not
not your
blaming
fault.
you.
I put a lot of heart and soul to that.
We could tell you did. We poured over those. I did after her, but yeah, I got them from her.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
I got the whole transcript.
So do I.
Yeah, I know. I forgot. I don't know how I got. I got those.
Yeah, I know how you got it.
Luckily,
Wasn't it
somebody here
also
made a mistake, and I
A
got
dryer station.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
In fact, that's the way it was presented. And because for years there was a compressor there.
There was, and you know what? We really never had any problems. You got to figure, none of this really came about until fracking came about. That Hartson compressor station, which is a FERC regulated compressor station, you might have heard it here and there, but you never heard it. But once fracking came in, and it's these gathering stations, and gathering stations they're not under Title V. They are by, the DEP regulates them, these gathering stations. And it's a whole different ballgame.
But then and I remember now that there's two types of compressors. There's the one that hammers, and there's ones like a jet engine that push it spirals.
Well, these
and
are
you
not,
don't-
yeah.
And you don't get the same noise.
Yeah. Well, and what we did find out is that it was installed with 4 natural gas compressors. And if you look, yeah, it is small, but they added 2 electric. And see, they never came back.
Oh, wow.
If you look on the DEP website, you'll be like, what are these extra 2 electric ones? When in the hell did they go in? I don't know.
That guy diagnosed it for me and made it out to be.
And
we
they
didn't.
should have came back, because Dennis did have any change they were going to make
come back.
had to come
And
back.
not only is it not fair to the residents because we're getting screwed over,
Yeah.
it's not fair to the residents in the sense that there would be money involved that we've lost.
See, my perspective was to protect the township and to protect the residents. That's the reason I put that language in there.
The soil and erosion has been violated since the day that thing started. We pay attention
And
to
again,
it.
the compressor stations back then.
Oh no, the water. It's the water coming off. What? It all goes across the road in a little ditch.
Isn't there a flooding problem over there now?
It has gotten better, and I think it's because, well, remember I bitched and said from that first ESG permit they did, when they submitted their first plan. Remember I saw that culvert that they had,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I said, well, this was on the original drawing.
Oh yeah.
Because I told Sean, I said, what the hell's this?
And then
He
they
said,
put on a
"This is
big
there."
show. They put on a big
Yeah,
show after
and
the
I
fact.
said, well, that wasn't there. That's when they went up.
Yeah.
That's when they went up. But to stop some of the water flow down, they had them not cut the grass. Because they were cutting all the grass, and then the water, when it would rain, would just flow down and flood the creek. Well, if they let the grass grow high, that
should have been taken care of
that-
in the grading.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's just, no.
And you got to remember,
Oh, my
Harold.
God, the
Got to
things-
remember Harshman bought a plane.
Like I said, all right.
So that's why I'm just, when it comes to this, you know what, I want to protect.
Well, maybe maybe you made a good point. Maybe we should limit it to industrial areas, something like that. Again, I just put stuff in there that.
Well, there is noise with even the solar.
Oh yeah.
Is there?
The panels, they make noise.
Can we add enforcement provisions?
Sure. I mean, what I did is I made it. It'll be a conditional use. The
And
reason
we
I
can
put
do conditional uses in certain sections only, right?
it'll be conditional use. I put
You
a whole bunch because I thought well it's industrial whatever. But whatever you guys want to do, we can just make a conditional use and be not be fit in any other districts. But and again, with conditional use, I can sit there and with the township can put together all these conditions to keep it. And I think if I'm correct, didn't I also put a provision in the conditional use that the township retains jurisdiction if they fail to comply with the conditional use?
Yeah, you did.
Because I always put that in their case to retain jurisdiction.
Yeah, you did. The township didn't care. They didn't care. After everybody got kicked out.
That's what you said.
Yeah. Still waiting for the trees that were supposed to be planted to block.
Weren't they supposed to plant trees there?
They did, but you know what? I'll be dead by the time they grow tall enough to cover the view.
All right, so you guys, okay, TJ, did you look it over, by the way?
Yeah, briefly.
Brief. Any major things stick out there that bothers you at all? Or
Dennis, did you look at that paper Michelle gave you?
I get so many papers from the town.
She just gave it to you, the last one.
Oh, this
It'll
right
be
here?
on top.
This is from Sean O'Dell to Heather Dare, Chucky Trax, Richard Lawson, Michelle Dupree, David Eskin. I'll mention something.
That's that. I thought it was something else.
David Eskin, Gary Sweat, Michael Crooney, Sarah Scott, Secretary Terry Gladys, JH. Who's JH?
Jamie Harshman.
Harshman Union Township, and Brandy or something. The follow-up on a discussion that occurred during public comment at the last Board of Supervisors meeting. This email is dated May 17, 2022. While pulling documents together in order to have a productive conversation with Ms. Darla Safko concerning the stormwater compressor station, I looked into the building permits that were submitted to the township for the structures for the site. I found that we do not have any record for a building permit for one of the newer buildings.
Yeah.
That
They
has
just
been
built it.
submitted under their ESCGP revision. On their ESCGP permit, the building is listed as an operations building as well as a maintenance building for the operation of the facility. I request more information from Equitrans concerning the building's functions and use. Upon obtaining the information, I'll run it past the solicitor's office to see if it warrants a conditional use hearing or if it's permitted as is. Once that question is resolved, they will need to submit and obtain building permit application for the structure.
All they did was
The end.
make them get a building permit. That's it.
The end.
But
Did they
again,
make them get a building permit?
I believe they did. I believe they did. But maybe that's what they said. I don't.
I bet you that's what they said.
well, it is what it is.
Should we
Well,
go
it's
back and
done.
make them fine them for all these years and make them get one?
I'd have to take a look at it. By the way, I have all my files. I kept all my files. I still have in the office.
I did have mine too.
What?
So do I,
Good
unfortunately.
news, Dennis.
Why?
No,
I keep everything.
I
So do we.
Well, you have.
We got clients at our office from 40 years ago. In the event they call us up and they need something, they'll.
You just
Wow.
never know. I mean,
Well,
this
it's
is
kind
kind
of
of,
anything. I mean, like the same with education.
yeah.
They've got files that go
but
back years.
even on that,
They have to. By law.
yes, you put, there were restrictions on, or baffles as such, to limit, the sound from all parties in the drawings. I remember that.
Like I said, my thing was to protect the township and to protect the
Right.
residents of the township, because I knew about the compressor station and noise, and I put so much stuff in there that it was, you know.
And then they got rid of you and did what the heck they wanted.
Which is also why they got rid of us.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you.
All right, so look at the solar field. And TJ, if you go again, I just maybe we'll just limit it to certain areas. I put anything. I didn't want to go to residential areas.
You do have residential.
Yeah.
I didn't know, but no, you put small ones. You can put a small thing.
Yeah,
Well,
this,
yeah, if some people have just like a couple panels in their
Yeah, you
yard.
put them on
Oh,
your wall.
Yeah.
But I'm told,
Yeah.
they generate a lot of heat, they can melt the siding off of somebody's house.
Yeah.
But that's up to them, they should know. But I did. If you want to have your own, like nowadays people have their houses and they put them on the roof of the house.
But can we put that under a different type of an ordinance? Because, I mean, let's,
Well, I put everything in there. Just
you know.
That's
it's
different than a
the
solar
typical,
farm.
We put it
It's
under,
within a farm.
It's
you
different.
know, low density single
There's a lot of
residential, and then all of a sudden that little
well, if
thing
you look,
becomes a big thing.
well, if
it's,
you look,
it's two different sections in here. Section 3 deals with principal uses, which is larger scale operations, and Section 4 deals with
That's section.
Dennis is calling it permitted accessory uses, which
These
would
were
be smaller
residential.
scale
that's the
residential.
case of your house
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Because nowadays people want to put it on the roof of the house. Roof is how we say it in Greentown, by the way. Not roof.
Just make sure your
Roof,
roof
roof.
can handle.
What's that?
Just make sure the roof can handle it before you
Yep.
put all that
Yep.
weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Do you have to get a
You
permit
gotta
for
make
that?
sure the
Yes.
life of the roof.
Yeah.
And
will
then you
sustain
have
the
to
life
check
of
to
the
make
panel.
sure it's do they have to have a structural engineer?
They have to have a structural
I saw-
engineer
I
to
saw
say
an
it's
article
okay to
today
put on
where
the
they're-
roof.
Okay.
There's electrical
They're
inspections.
trying to
Okay.
put these over the
Inspections
rivers,
for-
creeks,
Okay, that's
protect the
what,
water.
that's what I thought.
Better see for homeowners will cover it.
Okay.
Because it's
There was
actually.
an article, I saw in the article where the federal government
If you
is
can get it.
pushing
So,
certain areas to put these solar farms over top of a creek, or creek if you're saying Greentown, over top of the creek.
we say crick.
What's that?
We say crick.
Yeah, you say creek.
You say correct.
But they put them so you, I guess out in the west, so that's a big thing also. All right, so look it over again. It's two different, and you're right. We have solar fields, but if you want to have, we also have regulations about having on the roof of your building. And I expected Mr. Sauter to have more about this since he's an engineer.
My suggestions would be, let's consider lighting. We're dealing with that in other places too. You know, outdoor lighting. We should have language in here that talks about turning the lighting down and facing inward. Sound, that kind of enforcement stuff.
Well, we do that. Yeah, we should, and I do that with developments also.
We're dealing with it in a couple other townships where it's
Solar.
every meeting. It's people talking about
With
outdoor
with
lighting.
solar panels or
Not
solar?
necessarily just this, but other uses as well.
Okay. All right. So if you have any questions, be prepared for next meeting. Connie, you'll be the person we're going to ask questions first. Sure. No. Okay. Going back to tracks. You're talking about lot 4.
No.
No,
This is
no. Across the street.
the old the grandfather's house
That's lot 4.
where the,
Mm-mm.
no, it's on the other side of 88 by Cardox Road.
This one right here.
No, I'm talking the one right across
That's
from
what-
Travis
that's what-
Farm.
Wait a minute.
Is lot 4 the house? I thought lot 4 is where the house is.
The
isn't it?
house,
Well, there is,
the
like,
house is right across from
I can orient.
This is,
That's one of the.
okay, lot 4.
This is the,
I thought lot 4 was the house where he was talking about the familial house. Am I correct?
Yes.
Is that what he's gonna add on to? Is that all he's
No,
gonna do?
he's not, he's separating.
there's the family house on the corner when you come down 88. On
It's
the
on the
right
right-hand
is the family
side.
house and then
That's
the
right.
farm
Okay.
market.
You want to bring that up here?
Then you're talking on the other side of the road, which was the grandfather's house, like a newer granite,
Are you talking about over
and
here?
there was a greenhouse.
That'd be lot 4, wouldn't it?
I'm talking about the house right across when you turn onto
It'd be right, it's right here.
It's right here.
Turkey Foot?
It's right
Yeah,
here.
Turkey Foot,
There's a house right here.
Turkey Foot?
yeah.
Right
The
here,
bar-
there's a house.
The
Turkey Foot's up
business,
here.
no, the business.
Yeah, this is the
This is
family
the business
house.
right here.
Right
This
here.
is the-
Yeah.
And then
The
there would
original
be-
house.
The original house.
Keep straight.
Yeah.
There's a house there?
Yeah.
Make tracks.
There's the original the original
How does that
homestead
affect the
house.
hazard dam?
That's on lot 1?
I'm sure it can't.
Is your house on lot 1? I don't
Yes.
see
Not
it.
according to this drawing.
Yes, yeah, it's over here, which is lot 1.
Yeah.
Right here at Turkey Foot and 88 down
Yeah.
there.
It's,
There's a house right
From
here.
South
South
Park.
There's
Park.
not anything there.
No, there's
this
nothing
is
there.
lot
Something
4.
on there?
Should be.
This is lot 4.
Okay, so then, because I didn't see anything on there.
It's marked there, lot
Yeah, so
4.
that's
Yeah,
the
he's
farm.
talking about-
That's
they're
the
talking about the
homestead,
house
and
right
that's
there.
the grandfather's house.
That's for you.
I thought that was lot 4.
Uh-oh, you're in trouble.
Uh-oh.
So what he should do is he should show the house on that
Whoa,
plot.
whoa. This is
Oh,
wrong.
no, wait a minute, that is the house.
It talks about subdividing near the dam.
Yeah, this is the house.
It's from the server in
This is the house here,
2015.
right across from the barn.
Well, I want a copy of the plan.
Okay, it's right here.
Yeah.
What, on lot 4? No, that's not.
Lot 4 is, I said, lot 4 has a house, he said he kept that separate.
There is a
That
house,
we-
right.
Okay?
This is the, and this is the
That's,
barn.
that's the business.
At the corner of Turkey Foot and 88
This is the
is the homestead house.
Right,
That
okay.
is not on this plan.
Yeah,
It's not lot 4. Lot 4 is a different
It's at the
house.
corner of lot 1.
It's not show, he doesn't have it on this drawing at all.
It's not shown on the drawing. It
You
should
see
be.
this, you see it right, you see-
I know, yeah.
He added that when he
I
came
think
in.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
okay, so you were right, Connie. There is something on
Yeah,
there.
you're right, Connie.
And then I thought she was talking about this down here,
See, I thought she was talking about lot 4,
which is,
this one down here.
yeah.
That's what I thought
And
Connie was
that,
talking
and that's the old grandfather's house where they took
That's where all the cordwood used to be behind.
the,
Big pile.
Yeah, that's it right here.
Jack Street.
greenhouse.
Went
And it's
down
like
the
enclosing the greenhouse.
288
Yeah.
corridor.
Yeah.
This is the house.
Right by Cardinal, it's like
And
right
the
before
valley
Cardinal.
where he had, he used to stack his cordwood.
Ray Trax's father's house, Junior's
Right here.
house. The one I'm talking about is Junior's father's house, which
Okay.
is right
There's
across.
that's the old homestead house.
This,
right
the
there.
homestead.
Okay.
So there's the market.
Right, that's the one.
Yeah, that's what we're.
about. See, that's on the drawing.
Yeah, it's on
It's
the
not on this drawing.
That's
Should
not on
be,
the
it
drawing.
should be on the drawing.
No, it's further over.
It's not on this drawing. Here's the store right here. I don't
Yeah.
see it,
It's in the right-hand corner.
but it's not on here.
Yeah, it is. The house is right in the corner there. The 1 acre.
They're talking about, this is one thing over here.
Yeah.
They're saying it's something over here.
But that's what John's talking about.
No, there's nothing
Yeah,
over
'cause
here.
like I said, there used to be a
There's
big
nothing
pile
over
of
here.
wood sitting there. When they harvest the trees, that just keeps growing.
The one they're talking about is over here on 88.
Where's bring Sophie.
It looks like it. Interesting.
We need to be updated as time here.
The market.
Yeah. Inspected every year, huh?
Maybe right here.
I'll go to business.
One off 88 and then
Yeah, that's right.
If you look on the right-hand side, that is where the original Mr. Trax's farm was.
Are we adjourned here?
Is here.
No, yeah.
No.
Not yet.
that is this.
That's where he moved
That's
to.
the grandfather, yeah.
The original,
Where this.
the original house. That's his father.
Yes, sir.
Great grandfather. That's his house.
Today,
That's where he moved from.
meeting.
But this is where Charlie Trax lives.
Guy that were here for several different
That's
meetings.
not, that should be right here, that's not shown.
The land bank, houses and all that.
Christina May.
Christina May?
Right?
Christina May, what's going on with that? Did you,
They met all their conditions,
are they building?
The farm.
I believe.
I just
I
wondered,
believe so.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, yeah. This is
Was it Hammer there also or something?
That's, they dedicated the right of way for it.
20 years.
That's where the
Okay, oh, then that's
How
where,
is it?
okay.
She's got that on yet?
This is the greenhouse he's
Yeah, you see,
working
I don't
on.
want
And this
to.
is his house
Still
here.
Yeah,
And that's
still meeting.
whatever
We haven't
for.
adjourned it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now wait a minute.
No, leave it on because we're
When you
not
come
done.
down here, well, it should
I
be
thought
here.
John, I thought Mr. Starr was supposed to bring us all a
Yeah.
pipe with tobacco, we can
Yeah.
smoke pipes tonight.
Yeah, right.
Put this in your pocket.
That's what's wrong with these.
It's like drawn not to
You're
the
asking
same way
for
we
it.
look at the street.
But it's
You know,
not,
you have to turn the whole thing.
Do you have, let me ask you, do you have light, do you have special lighters and all that?
Special what?
What type of lighter do you use?
but no, this whole thing should be put on one sheet to scale,
Alright,
not
so
a copy.
so you're gonna tell me, it appears like there's a drawing, it's missing a house on the drawing, correct?
Apparently.
Alright, so that needs to be added to the drawing also. Good point, Connie.
That's the house right on the corner. With the,
Alright, is there anything else for the meeting tonight? Okay, so who wants to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second at 7:40. Yeah, 7:40.
7:39.
Okay, 7:39.
All in favor?
Aye.